Okay. Are we on? We're here.
We're
Yay,
here.
we're here.
Yay.
So we're in beautiful Malaga Cove
In Palos
in
Verdes.
Palos Verdes, which is my favorite place to be. We're at the Yellow Vase Cafe, and it's an Italian-inspired village by the sea. How perfect, right, for a Sunday afternoon. So we are here to just have a chat about your voice matters. Setting the stage, right,
To impact humanity.
And by the way, we didn't plan this pink thing. It just happened that way. He said, I'm just wearing my workout clothes. She said, I am too. And we both happen to be wearing pink.
Yeah.
All right. So just want to get that straight. This is no planned thing.
Cheers.
So, yeah. So, why in the world? Why are we doing this? Right? What is the reason we're doing this? And you always want to know, the people behind these workshops, events.
Yeah.
And, we're all over Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. We really wanted to bring it home, as in real. Let's have a real conversation about this, so you really get who we are, what we're doing, why we're doing it, right? And straight out, people need your light. People need to hear your story. People need your what? Inspiration. If there's any time in the world right now, it's now. Right?
Yes, we're living in a time of such uncertainty that everybody needs something to grab onto. So if you have a story, and everybody has a story.
Yep.
It's having the willingness to share that story, even if you just change one life. That's what's going to get you to that point where it no longer becomes this little nagging voice inside your heart or in your mind saying, you need to talk, you need to say something, you need to get out there, blah, 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 blah. Just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. What we're going to focus on, and we'll go through in a little bit more of the structure, but right now let's just kind of talk about this. But it's about what I'm calling it, what we're calling it, is your legacy brand story. Now, you may already have one, and it's time to evolve and change it because other things have happened in your life, and now it's time to refresh your story. So you're already a speaker, or you're an emerging speaker and you don't have that story yet, or you've outlined it and you're not sure how to go about it. That's what this is about. And we're setting the stage for you by having Laura do a beautiful visioning session on what that platform could be, feel like, look like, all of it. And then, of course, another session by Ashley, who's not with us today, who is an expert on your stage presence, reading the room, confidence on stage. In other words, who you're being on stage. So this is not an end-all, be-all workshop covering every single aspect of speaking. No. It's to focus in on these three pieces so that you can take off from there, right? And either build upon what you already have or begin what you aspire to have. Yeah?
And this also has to do with starting to speak about your story just within your own circle of influence. How many of you have been through a crisis, a loss, a tragedy, where your own circle of influence, they know about it, but they really don't really know about it. Maybe you felt uncomfortable about sharing it. Maybe you felt like ashamed. I know one of my stories, I felt that way. But more importantly, the reason why your voice matters is because when you have gone through a crisis, life challenge, or even a tragedy, and I'll never forget this, after I had gone through what I went through back in 2007, was I was sitting in church one day and minister, I swear there were a couple hundred people there, but I could feel like he was talking just to me, and he said, if you have suffered a life crisis, It is your mandate to share your story.
Yeah.
Why? So that you can help others.
Yeah.
So that you can hopefully help somebody else who might even be going through something similar, or if it happens to them, they have the tools to navigate it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't. I had to navigate it.
Yeah.
My own way.
Well, and I know you've probably heard the term "what's personal is universal." You're not alone in this, and that's another way of saying what Laura's saying. Oh, which by the way, I'm Marla Diane, and this is Laura Weintraub.
Yeah, we just assumed you knew us.
We figured you were going to know that anyway.
Okay.
But yes, is that it's all based on the premise that what's personal is universal, and you're not alone
I like
in
that.
this.
Personal universal.
You know, yeah. And that's how powerful and profound getting on a stage, and I'm talking globally, and I'll get to the premise of why we're doing this, but for you to come out of the perspective that it's about you, it's really about how you can impact others. And I know in my coaching that I've done over the years, speaking, I've helped, that's right, we haven't even told what we do, but when I have coached, my entrepreneurs, is I'm an intuitive business strategist and a life designer for creatives. And when I have taken some of my clients through the speaking platform, the visibility factor has to be worked on, is because most have a hesitation, a fear about visibility, about being on stage. And when I share with them and we work through that process of visibility, when I use the premise that the story and the speaking is not about when you can do this, not about you, it's about how you can impact others, it then takes the focus off of you and puts it on how you're serving, right? And how you're impacting humanity. Hence the name of this workshop. Okay.
Right.
So there's that.
Yeah. And my story, or what I'm doing now, is after 30 some years as an entrepreneur, creating businesses and monetizing my passions, I had a couple of pretty serious life changes, from crisis to tragedy. And you can read all about that on my website. I retired for a couple of years and was pretty much enjoying just playing pickleball, taking care of myself, going out to lunch, shopping, etc. But having been an entrepreneur for so many years, monetizing my passions, I realized, like, I don't need to monetize my passions anymore. However, I love teaching other women how to do it. But that's just a side note. No, the real core of my heart is, after the first crisis, I wrote a book called "I'm Not Afraid to Die, I'm Not Done Living: 5 Essential Keys to um, Jumpstart your path to healing." Sometimes when I think about that time in my life when I had to find a way to deal with the diagnosis and turn it into my prognosis and how I was going to get through it, I didn't have time to read a self-help novel or, pretty much that. I ended up writing the book that I needed to read in that moment. And it's a short read, it's like 100 pages, a little over. And it got me through that time of my life. Thank you.
Yeah,
and it's on Amazon. Good. And now I'm in the process of writing another book. And it's called What Happened to My Happy? And that is, the undercurrent of that is the 3 essential keys to jumpstart your path to happiness, which is purpose, passion, through the process of overcoming pain and transmuting it into power. So I decided to come out of retirement because I couldn't shut down that small, still voice that was saying to me, you were meant so much more than to just be home.
Get out and speak.
Playing pickleball.
Get out.
Nothing against pickleball. It's a great sport, and I still play. That's what I'm going to do later on today. But I've now come back and redefined my brand and who I am. And this feels like the most authentic time in my life, honestly. as a keynote speaker, published author, and a comeback coach for midlife women, women who have been through crisis and tragedy and loss just like myself, who really have a voice and to help them make that comeback and really live their purpose at this stage in life. I mean, at this stage in life, there's just no more time to think about it anymore. You just got to jump into
Yeah,
it.
jump
If not
into
now,
it.
then when, right? So that's why I came out of time, because I don't want to. I don't want to. I've always lived my life this way, where at the end of the day, if it's my last day on the planet, I want to be able to say, yeah, I did it. I did it all. And I
Yeah.
was fearless and I jumped into it. And I don't care if I make mistakes, if I stutter, if I,
That's you.
yeah,
She's very courageous. Trust
just,
me. She's
it
a
is,
very courageous
thank
woman.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's known me a long time, for
Well,
over 20 years. And she's coached me too.
yeah, I was gonna jump into the little backstory here. It's like,
Yeah.
why are we doing this together? And Ashley, hi Ashley. Sorry you couldn't be here with us today. And that
She's
is
our third collaborator.
yes, yeah. Ashley is, as I mentioned, she's teaching the stage presence part. But how this all came together,
Yeah, let's tell them how it came together.
is that
We were at that event.
well,
More than that.
yeah.
Mm.
First of all, I've known Laura since 2012. So how many years is that? I don't know. Add it up.
No.
So 2012, and we have gone through everything in life since then together, right?
She was
We've
there.
got a very tried and true friendship, and yeah, just love her.
Ditto.
Yeah. And then with Ashley Rivera, Ashley actually, I've known her for a couple years because I coach a lot of creatives in the wedding and event industry. And the company Invisible Touch that she works for as a DJ, MC, and host, I met her through, that entity and the owner, Robert Arthur, and one of his master DJs, Juan Castro. So it wasn't until last year that we connected, and she ended up coaching with me, and I helped her build her coaching platform. She wants to be a motivational speaker and a coach. And so, yeah, so she jumped into my cohorts and some private coaching, and off she goes, and she's got now something to offer.
To me, Ashley's like the daughter I never had.
Yeah.
she really is, because she's the youngest of this little triangle.
Yeah.
You know,
So
I look at her like the daughter I never had. If I could, have a daughter, she would have a lot of those same qualities.
Such
Yeah,
an
she's
old
an old soul.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
such a beautiful, beautiful old soul.
Yeah.
It's very
And
spiritual.
she too has faced a lot of tragedy in her life, challenges at such a young age.
Yeah.
As so many young adults in this day and age that we're living in, these millennials,
Yeah.
are faced with in today's world.
Yeah.
So,
oh my gosh.
She's that third component.
She
represents that group.
Yeah. So what happened was last October, the three of us, I had invited Laura and Ashley, knowing that they wanted, to build up their speaking platform, and I wanted to level mine up because I've been speaking for, I don't know, 10, 12 years.
And we used to do stuff together like that.
And we used to do stuff together.
Yeah. We did a few events where we were speaking.
We did.
It was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I invited them to go to this event near LAX, because we're in LA, county down South Bay. Anyway, so I invited the two of them to go with me. And as I was, I think a week prior to going, I thought, you know what? We should put on an event, the three of us. Me knowing what they desire, and we all share the same common interest, which is speaking, changing lives. And so I presented them this idea I named it Your Voice Matters, setting the stage impact humanity.
It totally resonated
during
with
our
us.
lunch.
Yeah, we totally
during this
resonated.
event.
We said yes.
And they said,
we said yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Be careful when you say yes.
I know, because we have definitely done so far. We're in the middle of the journey. And as you all know, things can go wrong and things can go right. And it's just part of it. It's part of the evolution of putting together something this profound. As far as I'm concerned, it's very profound. Okay, that's the backstory why we're here.
Yeah.
So let's see. To talk a little bit about, I think it's important to and fun, talk about kind of where our speaking began. And Laura's got a story. I'll share mine for the moment. And that is, I'm a writer, right? So my childhood days was not actually thinking of being on a stage. It was really about being a writer, an inspirationalist. I was writing in journals, I was very introspective, and outgoing. But it wasn't until I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was in 2003. I was a single mom, 5 years into being a single mom with my then, let's see, I think it was, nine or 10 at the time, my son. And through that journey, I volunteered for Susan G. Komen Foundation. It was part of my healing, right, of breast cancer. And I became a volunteer, and they asked me if I would be their speaker chair. This is for the LA affiliate because I was living in Los Angeles area. And I said, sure, what does that entail? And so I ended up having a wonderful 6 years as their speaker chair, not only myself going out and speaking about my survivor story and the Komen initiatives, but to small and large audiences. And I was on the board, and it just was a really transformational 6 years of my life that little did I know, 5 years later, I would end up becoming a coach, speaker, workshop leader. That was not even in my realm of thought back then. But we all know with the universe is that nothing is out of order in our lives.
Nope.
And it was setting me up to then be that coach in 2008 when I started my 17-year-old business. And here we are now in 2025, passing, if you will, the torch to help others do that. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell, where my speaking began, which was very authentic, accidental, if you will, not planned, and always the best is that way anyway. So what's your story?
Well, we were chatting on the phone last night, and she asked me that. And the first thing that came to mind, I said, I've always loved to be on stage and speak. It started when I was like 5 years old. I used to create these theater setups in my grandma's backyard. I hang up the sheet over the clothesline, and that was my curtain. Had my little stage. I put a little piece of carpet there.
First time I heard this was yesterday. Yeah, I didn't even know this about you.
As long as we've known each other, she didn't even know this. Yeah. And then I would go around and sell tickets to all my little neighborhood friends for 5 cents, and they'd come over and they'd see my show.
Yeah.
So that seed was planted many years ago. Then in high school, I was very involved, as senior class president, and you name it, I was doing it. And then in my young adult working career, I won a sales contest. At that time, I was an account executive for the LA Times, and I'll never forget that moment when I was on stage and I was speaking to all my colleagues and my peers, and I just felt so comfortable. It was just so natural for me. And then I'll never forget this dream I had. I saw myself on a very large stage. This was in my early 20s. And I was talking and speaking and using my hands and walking the stage. It was so natural. I didn't know what the heck I was talking about. The dream didn't tell me. But what the dream did tell me is that you will know when you know. Yeah. And then through this journey, I'll never forget when I met Lisa Nichols. I went to go see her at Agape, which is a community that I've served for many, many years. And I had her sign my book, and I asked her, I want to become a speaker. Where do I start? And you know what she said to me? You just start.
You just start.
Just start talking.
Yeah. You just start.
I used to love to talk. I talked so much. I used to
And
get in
she
trouble.
still does. She's a good talker.
I used to talk so much. I used to get in trouble in class all the time. I went to Catholic school and they couldn't shut me up. So I was always writing lines. I will not talk in church. I will not talk in class. But you know what?
That's so funny.
That when we write and we make a statement, it's powerful because for many years I lost my voice. I couldn't talk.
Mm.
Yeah, I felt cut off. And it wasn't until I started singing in choir again, I started to find my voice. But it started, that seed was planted many years ago.
Yeah.
And then after surviving a health crisis in 2007, I wrote the book because my reverend said, if you've suffered a life crisis, it's your mandate to share it with others. And I was so grateful to be alive. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, but I don't know how to, I've never written a book, you know. I write poetry, but I've never written a book. I don't know anything about it. And the message I got was, don't worry, we'll help you. Yeah. And I've been a student of metaphysics for many years. I started in 1995. And I realized, like, oh, this is not about me. This is about something working through me. Yeah. And so that's when the first book got published. I started speaking. I started getting out there and marketing and promoting the book and sharing my story and the tools that I acquired during that process to help others. And
here we are.
And then COVID.
So,
and now I'm writing the second book.
And here we are.
And here we are.
You mentioned. Okay.
Yeah. So it all started many years ago.
As a little girl for her.
Yeah.
So it's like pay. What do I say? Success leaves clues, right? So look back at your life, right, and look at all the connect the dots, right? Your success as a speaker started somewhere, and we're here to set that stage for you.
Yeah.
Right.
This is all about that.
Yeah. So let's kind of, let's kind of wrap this up and talk a little bit more about the day. What are the options? Sorry. Got my dog Ruby here, and she's barking at another dog. Sorry about that. We wanted this to be natural.
That's what dogs do.
That's what dogs do.
She's just being a dog.
Yeah, just being a dog. Okay. Just kind of looking under the table, make sure she's okay. So, all right. So what's happening, and the link is going to be below, and you can go check out the details of the page. But what's important to know is this deadline. So today is June 22nd. July 1st, and we've been promoting this since June 1st, probably the end of May, but there's a Bring a Friend special that ends July 1st. So that's in a week, I think. I don't know. Count the days.
It's about 2 weeks. Here we go.
2 weeks.
Fabulous. July 1st, yeah.
Doesn't matter. So July 1st. And what that means is there are 3 choices for you to register. It's either general, right, or VIP, which includes swag bag sponsor, or a table sponsor, right? These are all registrations to attend. And with the swag bag, you get everything included as everything else. You just get to now be in our swag bag and our marketing.
And it's a limited number of swag bag sponsors because there's only so much material we can fit in a bag. So what
I think it was 20.
I think we're thinking of
15 to 20. Is that what it was?
Swag bag sponsors?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll have to get some bigger bags. I need a bag sponsor.
Okay.
Hey, Caroline, if you're listening to this.
Yeah, I love it.
I love those canvas bags.
Let's get a bag.
Yeah, we want to be able to fit all your material in there.
And we have a few already. We have a few swag bag sponsors.
But the table sponsors, there's only so much room in the room.
We only have 6 tables, and we have 2 of those booked.
No more.
3? Who's the third one?
They're coming.
Huh? Oh, they're coming? Yeah. Okay, that's okay. That's manifesting. But yeah, we have Mise en Place, which is owned by Rico Mandel. It's a beautiful culinary and travel marketplace online. And
you went to Italy with
I went to Italy, yeah. Those of you that know about my trip last year, the culinary adventure in Tuscany and Umbria, that was with Rico. Anyway,
and you've known him for over 20 years.
I got, well, 36 years to be
36
exact.
years, yeah.
Yeah, so Rico's a table sponsor. He's totally excited to bring this to the women.
So there'll be some
fabulous
really
food
exciting
and travel,
culinary delights at this event.
travel and cooking
Through
classes
Rico,
and all that.
yeah.
And then, of course, there's Catherine Della Ripa, who
Photography.
is a beautiful photographer, which, by the way, just did my rebrand photos. You go to my Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook pages, you'll see a lot of those photos.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm so pleased.
Fun.
She's one of our table sponsors.
Yeah.
Okay, so all that to say, so there's 3 options, and
also there's a limited number of guests that we can accommodate too, because there's only so many tables we can fit into this room that
our goal is 30.
Yeah.
Not including us.
30
all right,
to 40.
Okay, all right. So
I want to keep it intimate.
Okay. So let me finish.
Okay.
Like I said, she likes to talk. Okay. So it's right. We wanted this.
Gotta fit in all the details.
This is us. You're looking at our friendship. So 3 options, and you register for one full of those options, and then you bring a friend for $75, and you figure out who's going to pay what. I recommend that you split it. Right. It's up to you.
Out to $125 each.
You do whatever you do, but it's you'll see it's $175, $200, and $300. That's it. That's all it is. Those are the 3 options you'll see on the page.
So when you bring a friend for $75, you can either treat her, or you split the difference, and it comes out to $125 each, which is $100 savings.
Whatever you want to do.
2 registrations.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I'm in the numbers. So.
You get the 75. Bring a friend. And how that can look is register now. You can figure out who you're going to bring, and we'll honor the 75, providing you do it before July 1st. You don't have to know who you're bringing.
Right.
We will see your registration. We will see it's done before July 1st, and we will honor beyond July 1st. We will honor the 75.
Yeah, where you can add your friend.
So don't worry about you think you have to know who that person is. You do not. Right? As long as you register, right, by July 1st, we'll honor it. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Super simple. Okay.
Oh, and just so that you know, that registration includes free parking, breakfast, continental breakfast, and a beautiful plated lunch.
Yeah, gourmet lunch.
Swag bag.
This is a sophisticated, savvy event for women, high value women. And 3 sessions. It's going to be a full day of networking. We're going to have real masterminding at your table.
We've allotted enough time
with your table mates. Around the topics that we're teaching, and then of course, obviously, what we're teaching. So this is a well put together full day immersion workshop where you get to be in a room full of women like you, right?
And like us.
Who
have those standards. Yeah.
That can either be power partners for you, clients for you, referrals for you. We all know the importance of networking, but we're curating. That's our intention, what we're manifesting. We're curating this to be that type of women. Yeah? So spread the word, please. Register. Don't wait. Just get yourself registered and go find that friend. And what else?
And give yourself the gift of spending a Saturday at a beautiful resort location.
September 6th, by the way. I know it's
Saturday,
on the page.
September 6th at a beautiful resort location
in Newport
Beach.
Yeah.
The
Hyatt Regency.
Even if you don't know why you're going, you'll discover why you're there.
Yeah.
Once you're there, you'll discover why you're there.
So it's at the Hyatt Regency, Newport Beach. Again, all the details are on the event page. And to Laura's note, when you, and this is who I am, I'm about intuition, Laura is too. It's how I coach my women about listening to their intuition first, not their logic. And to what she just said is, when you get that nudge that says go, but you don't know why, do it. That's your logic trying to intercept your intuition. Yeah, but why do you want to go? Yes, we want you to see the value for yourself and ask yourself that question. What's the value for me? Trust me, if I was in a conversation with you, which I'm more than happy to do, it's what I'm going to ask you. What do you see as the value for you by going? And there's going to be many levels. But what Laura is saying is listen to your intuition that says go and figure out why later. Yeah?
Absolutely. I mean, this
Okay.
event is something we're creating that meets our level of standards. So that's why it's Newport Beach. That's why it's a Hyatt Regency. That's why it's limited to the number of guests that we can accommodate, because we really want to create a wonderful experience for you as if we were there as attendees as well.
I mean, well,
It has to be all or
it
nothing.
represents us and our
And
brand.
it's a total step above.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're representing the brand. I mean, we're not going to deliver something that doesn't represent us, obviously. So, okay, anything else before we hop off? Because we're on 30 minutes, which is perfect. Anything
See
else you want to
there.
say? Yeah.
Yes.
If you want
See
to
there.
hop on a call for
Yeah,
any
I'm available.
reason,
DM
Laura,
me.
Marla, Ashley,
I'll help you.
please, we are more than happy to have a 30-minute call with you if you need to get clarity. But I'll be honest with you, listen to your intuition. All the details are on the page for you to be able to make that decision. But yes, if you feel you have that need, you bet, be happy to talk. Yeah? Okay?
Sounds good.
All
Okay.
right. We'll see you
on September 6th
in
Newport Beach.
All right.
All right.
Take care.